in search of sanity. Hello, thanks for once again allowing LilyBell to take you beneath the crust, where I talk about what you're afraid to think about. I'm so glad you're back. Great for rising. I'm going to give a brief overview of the Book of Ezekiel. I will go deeper in the 4 30-minute MP3s and on the 4 PDF hard copies. I will give links to the references in the PDF hard copies. Okay, Ezekiel. You know, when I was a little girl, my mama used to sing this song. Ezekiel saw a wheel way up in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw a wheel in a wheel way in the middle of the air. Okay, now in chapter 1, verse 1 says, Ezekiel was in captivity by the river Chebar when the heavens were opened and he saw visions of God. What happened here is Ezekiel's third eye began to open, and Ezekiel started to see the God in himself. This is when Ezekiel began to battle with the serpentine fire. Now I use battle here not in a negative sense. It simply means Ezekiel starts shedding all those notions of himself and start dealing with his true self. In it's time you start to confront yourself about yourself, a battle ensues. Your old self battles to maintain itself. Your new self battles to become itself. The serpentine fire is your Kundalini energy. Kundalini energy is the life force energy that our body uses as a reserve and supplies us with our daily energy for for metabolic requirements. Now your Kundalini lies dominant and waiting until need arises. Then like the serpent it is symbolized by, it uncoils and rises quickly to the occasion. Another thing happens when your third eye starts to open is you see the need to balance your chakras. Now, I go more into the chakra balance in the 30 minute. In verse 4, Ezekiel says he saw a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst there are as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. In Acts chapter 2, that whirlwind and fire shows up again. And that'll be something else I will expound more on. Ezekiel saw a whirlwind. Anytime your third eye starts to open, all hell breaks loose. You begin to see things as they are, not as you're comfortable with them being. A whirlwind is tumultuous, disorderly, a tornado. The whirlwind Ezekiel saw was enfolding on itself. It was going inside of itself. This is where Ezekiel saw his real self, by going inside of himself. You can never get a picture of what's on the inside by looking from the outside. You must go inside to truly see the inside. Anytime your third eye starts to open, your focus turns inwards so you can see what greatness you have. Therefore, you can see the God in you. You also start to admit yourself to yourself, so you can start removing from yourself the things that have been hindering you from rising to your higher self. There was a fire with the whirlwind that Ezekiel saw. A fire is sometimes used as a purifier. I remember as a child seeing my daddy and them setting fire to fields on the farm. Daddy said this was to burn off debris, unwanted stuff. A fire generates heat. One thing that happens when you balance your chakras is heat. Sometimes the heat is so intense it burns your hand when you attempt to harness it. The color red is also associated with heat. The color red represents Ezekiel's base chakra. The base of root chakra is red. It represents safety and survival. In order for Ezekiel to be able to withstand his journey ahead, one of his key focuses has to be safety and survival. In verse 5, Ezekiel saw the likeness of 4 living creatures. In numerology, the number 4 is a masculine number. The number 4 is a number of being. It is the number that connects mind, body, spirit with the physical world of structure and organization. In the Bible, 4 is the number that symbolizes God setting all the things in order. You see, everything in life can be summed up to a number and a color. Now, if you drop down to verse 15, Ezekiel said, "Now as I was beholding a living creature, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creature with 4 faces." What Ezekiel says is, as I looked at the living creature, I saw a wheel on the ground. Ezekiel saw a chakra on the ground beside each creature with its 4 faces. This was the appearance and structure of the wheels. They sparkle like topaz, and all 4 looked alike. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. In other words, like Mama said, a wheel in a wheel. Let's deal with this topaz for a minute. Topaz stimulates. It recharges. Topaz bring about clarity. Clarity is certainly something Ezekiel needs on this endeavor. Topaz gives divine wisdom and connects you directly to the heaven realm. Topaz represents safety and survival. You remember when we talked about earlier the color red, that base chakra? There's your safety and survival again. Okay? Now, in order for Ezekiel to come out of this unscathed, or in his so-called right mind, he had to have an understanding of what was happening. Wings were there. Wings are used for elevation. He had to elevate himself. And the one thing about wings can lift more than they weigh. So you see the topaz, you saw the red. And as we go through Ezekiel, you're going to see every chakra, from the base chakra up to the crown chakra. And you're going to see how Ezekiel, with those wheels, were able to balance his chakras and go where he needed to go. You know, there's a song by Earth, Wind, and Fire, "Surely as life begun, you as one will battle with the serpentine fire." Thank you very much for listening to the excerpt from one of the 30-minute MP3s of Ezekiel.
Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Support our youth. Reach out to the young brother who dropped the beats. Spacemanfalcon at gmail.com. Support our youth in any way you can. Keep on churning till the butter comes. Albert C. Richardson, a black man, patent the butter churn U.S. patent number 446470, February 17th, 1891. I'm LilyBell. I'm just trying to create a dialogue. I leave you with this. If they close my book, you remember my story. Many of you refused to balance your chakra. Why did you do it? A Nat Turner Runner production. Lock and load. LilyBell. Be encouraged.